Recorded to you live from a top-secret location on the dark side of the moon. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. I'm your host. My name is still Bill Sweeney. And with me, as always, is Dom.
I guess my name is still Dom also.
You are still Dom. And then Brother Bob.
I'm George today.
He's George today. He's George today. George who? George what? You want to do a last name on George? On this
well, definitely not George Michael.
Okay.
I'm not into that
Well,
kind
George Michael Stevenson, maybe, or something like that. Would you settle for that?
Well, how about George Michael from the George Michael Sports Machine?
There you go. That George Michael.
That George Michael.
The cooler of the two George Michaels.
Barely.
Well, thanks for listening, folks. If you're still listening, you know.
Cannot believe it's August 1st already.
It is. Yeah.
It's August 1st, and I cannot believe it.
I know.
Back to school.
Oh, that's what you meant by that. I was like, yeah, what's the big deal on fucking August 1st? I'm too old. I don't get that reference anymore. It's like, oh, yeah, school shit.
Isn't it also our 10th anniversary? Where we've done 10 shows and we're starting the next 10?
Well, this is actually 12.
This is 12? That's right. Last week was 11.
Last week was 11.
Okay.
So last week was the big 11th. That we should have had a 10th anniversary last week. So,
we'll do 11th anniversaries every 11 episodes.
Well, 12. If you're talking about it now, we should do a 12th anniversary.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because this is when it finally came up, doing any kind of anniversaries.
Right.
I think, you know what, this is too much anniversaries lately. I think people are overdoing the anniversaries.
At least the 12th anniversary might actually line up with, like, computer bits,
or
that kind of thing.
Stars maybe? Something?
Yeah, eventually.
Anyway, hey kids, thanks for listening. If you're still listening.
No. I think that last comment of mine just had somebody gun in his mouth.
Hopefully they just fell asleep before he pulled the trigger. Well, let's start out with a little bit of recap from last week's episode. Last week's episode, I was like, I got this grand plan, and I'm going to reveal it in the 11th episode. And it was all about doing some secret numbers. And, I probably should check the email right now, but I don't think we got anything. So, just remember, kids, it's $50 laying on the table. If you want to find out how to get that, go to episode 11. That's it. Don, what's the problem?
No, nothing.
Okay. I felt like that was an issue. Anyway, you're throwing me off today, Bob, with the guitar. I don't know why you're throwing me off. Something's in the air, man.
You need to finish the cup of coffee. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The work
that's
day's
exactly
over.
what it is.
You need your boost.
I need my boost. Yeah. Well, anyway. It's quiet in here now. I've made it awkward.
After all, Deadpool gives you wings, right?
Deadpool. Yes, I said that earlier, Deadpool. I got Deadpool news.
Yeah,
you kids want to hear it?
In the pre-show meeting.
In the pre-show. I couldn't even say Deadpool. But, anyway, so it's been a week, so we've been up to stuff, and I got a couple of stories, but before we get to that, Tom's been reading Outcast.
Yes, I have.
Tom, you even brought it with you. Like show and tell. It's like fucking show and tell.
Show and tell, baby. Yeah, man, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Okay. Now that's Robert Kirkman, that's coming to Cinemax, right?
I believe so, yeah. I was in the comic shop on Wednesday, and I only had like 3 books in my bag, which is very surprising because I usually have like upwards of 10 or 12.
Right.
I think that's because they accidentally gave him the bill.
You apparently started to see.
Got some doubles in yours.
Yeah, last week I had actually extra comic in my bag.
Did you?
Yeah. I had 2 copies of Future Imperfect number 3 or whatever. And usually they catch that on their own. I mean, that's this thing usually as they're going through the stack, and they didn't even notice. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, but
I think I pulled it off the shelf and it was already in my pull bag. But anyway, go on.
No, but anyways, I was just looking around the shop to see if there was anything else that maybe I missed or, wanted to check out, like if I had any interest in anything.
Right.
And Babyface, one of the guys that works at the shop,
Babyface,
suggested Outcast, the first trade to me, which is the first 6 issues in a collected edition. And $8 later, I'm halfway through it and I like it. I'm excited for the show.
Digging it.
Yeah.
Digging it. Yeah, man, I'm reading that too, and it's pretty good, man. It's not exactly what I expected from the description because, it's exorcism stuff, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
like
Usually I hate that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I hate any. I'm really not a big horror fan.
Yeah, and horror is going to be hard to do
with movies.
in a comic book.
Yeah, exactly. But with movies and TV shows, I hate horror stuff. So I'm kind of a little curious as to how I'm going to react to the show.
Right.
But if it's exactly like the book, I'm sure it won't be that scary or anything like that.
Yeah,
Because I'm not
yeah.
really into like the.
Is the book giving you nightmares?
No. I'm not really into all the the demon and the demon
the
child
horror, the
stuff,
hell, and all
you know.
that kind of stuff. Sometimes it. You know,
Going to Catholic school my whole life, I guess.
like,
I
my
kinda-
God, this again?
I guess I kind of have the demon stuff.
Right, you're done with
in
it.
a special place in the back of my
Well,
brain.
that too, but also you're probably done with it. It's like, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
demons, ooh, you know.
No, but it actually does scare me. That's
Oh,
what I'm
is that
trying to
what it
say.
is?
That's
It's
what I'm
like,
trying to say.
No, I'd rather not watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right.
That's what I'm trying to go for.
Bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. And I showed the trailer to my dad the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to watch this. It's too scary."
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I get to make fun of your dad now. Oh, shit. If you're listening, I won't do that. I won't do that.
Yeah. He gave up after like episode 3.
Yeah, well, you know, that's more of a commitment than some people I know
That's
I'm
true.
making.
That's very true.
All right. And now for me, I had a fun experience the other day. So now my PlayStation wouldn't work, right?
Right.
The display started not giving up the goose. You know what I mean? It wasn't spinning. And I'm like, all right, let me troubleshoot this online, try to figure it out. And long story short on that, and Bob pointed out, he's like, bro, just stand it up on its side, and it should fucking shake it loose, you know? Because it's the laser thing.
Right,
the laser
right.
reader's not sliding along the little
Right,
bar in there.
the laser's in a plastic ball, and that ball tends to stay in one position, and that's what gets scratched up. So when you turn the PlayStation sideways, now you're exposing a new area of the ball.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why now it's reading it again, and if it happens again, now you got to turn it on its other side.
Okay. All right. Well,
And-
either way,
And
that
if you don't have
problem
a
solved.
PlayStation 4 by then
Right.
there's a problem.
Okay. Well, according to you, Dr. Video Games.
Oh, I'm kidding.
No, I know. But, so now here's the rub, right? So as I'm going to search out how to do this, right, the first video I find is actually a very normal tutorial and it's very helpful. You know what I mean? Not that I ended up using that solution, but
Right.
it was a real legit thing. And I say that because the next video I found was something else completely, and it was how to upgrade your Xbox 360 to an Xbox One. You know? And I watched that video and I was like, what? Really? Yeah? And then I watched another video of this kid's and it was how to upgrade your regular, like your TV right now, to a 4K. And I watched that video and I was like, what? Really? That easy? Holy shit. This can't be real. And I watched another video and I was like, God damn it. This stuff is fucking... What? No, I should have heard about this.
What was
And
that
then by the
video?
time Bobby got home, about fucking 10 minutes later, Bob comes in, and I'm like, dude, you gotta check this shit out, you know? And I even had him going for a second when I told him about the TV one, and then I'm like, motherfucker, I found it. Like, you know, I should have just looked at the comments a long time ago. So this kid, Theo Joe, if you want to set
Yeah.
your friends up with a
That's-
little post it on your Facebook and see how
Right.
many of your friends fall for it.
THIOJOE.
Right. And,
All one word.
he makes very, kind of, you know, not professional, but very, you know, the typical YouTube
Seems believable.
tutorial, helpful tutorial, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the kid
YouTubers
goes
try,
out
yeah.
of his way, bro. Like the one where you upgrade your Xbox to a Xbox One or your PS3 to a PS4.
Right.
All you're really doing, and you know, granted, obviously should have caught on, right? Like, because it's ridiculous, right? But he was selling it. And I'm looking at the views, and for some reason, I'm like gauging his credibility by his view count.
Right.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
he's got 100,000 views.
Right, yeah, these are 360,000 views on these
You know,
things, 400,000
and because I'm
views.
subconsciously making a connection, if that gives him credibility, I'm buying it, right? So, but anyway, the rub on this was like, you just take the disc, and you know, for people who don't have means of online and they want to reboot the fucking machine, you know, they keep the code on all these discs if you want to upgrade your machine. So all you had to do was go into the reboot the computer, the system. We're holding down the buttons, waiting a certain amount of time for beeps and boops, and then like you get a command list comes up, and like, you know, you put in a PlayStation 4 disc into your PlayStation 3, and because it's the same basic innards to a degree, it'll fucking reinstall PlayStation 4 off this disc. But he's going through the steps, bro. He's like, all right, I'm going to go in my other room. I got it all set up, and we're going to do it. And it's like, you know, he's going through all these steps. He's going through the whole thing. It's a fucking 8-minute video.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so he's selling it as real as if it was, you know?
That actually can actually sound legit to a certain extent.
Yeah.
it's where when he does the Xbox One, then he makes a mistake.
Right.
That kind of like gave me a little bit of a nudge, but I was still wanting to believe.
Right.
Right. And that's because the Xbox 360 runs on HD DVDs,
right?
Not Blu-ray, right? Because when they came out with the Xbox 360, they wanted to try and do what Sony does and create a new format and all that, right? So, but the Xbox One, having come after that war was lost,
right?
That's a Blu-ray machine.
Okay, right. You did okay, yes, right. So he should have been. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked anyway,
right?
So,
but the one that finally got me, that I had to stop the video, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is bullshit." Because he's got even the fucking place cards, the image place cards,
right?
That look, like he's actually spending time doing it. Like it's got good graphics on his little, little video previews off on the sidebar. So I was like, this fucking guy. So it was improve your internet speed by like a third or some shit, and all you did was you taped a AA battery to your Ethernet cable. Facing in this direction on this end and that direction on that end, and because it's like magnet shit, he was making it up. Like, I was like, I'm fucking done. Where is the fucking comment section? Why was I not checking the comment section? Like, why am I fucking bro all night? And then the next day, I was like heated at work. Like, when Brian picked me up in the morning, I was like, bro, I got taken last night. I got rooked. I got trolled.
You got Brianed.
I got Brianed. Fucking. Yeah, it was great. It was great, though. But I had me all stewed up. So, that's my little
conspiracy
thing. So if you want to see how many of your friends will, like, fall for some stupid stuff like that, I'll give the kid a plug because he got me. It's like, all right, I know you're like a troll dude, but all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Hats off to you.
Hats off to you, Theo.
Theo Joe.
Theo Joe, ThioJoe. You can find his account on YouTube. Whatever. He's got plenty of hits. He doesn't need my help.
Yeah, make sure you watch the one that tells you about how to make your computer faster by just facing it magnetic north.
Yeah, that's because then me and Bobby started watching a bunch of them.
I know because as you realized it was fake, I was watching that one and realized
I think it was fake on the other in the other room.
All right, there's just no way. I mean, I have a degree.
I have a degree.
Computers.
Well,
they would have told me something like that,
and that should have been my tip off, right? Because what eventually happened to me is like on the sideboard, the first video I watched, there was this other video that was in response to his video. It wasn't even that one. It was to some other one, and it was like 20 minutes long. So eventually, when I was resurfing it later on, I finally did go to that video. The first comment on that guy's video was like, dude, this guy's trolling you. He's trolling everybody. Like, you don't get it? You're not in on the joke?
Yeah.
Like, because this guy starts going on that angle. He's like, I'm an engineer, and I've got this degree, and I've got that degree, and there is no way by coiling up your Ethernet cable, because that was his original video, I think. Because in that video, he's in a different house. So it's one of these ones where if you coil it up, like how like on you do the electric magnet thing on a nail with a wire,
because you shorten the distance.
I bet you that's what he says in it. I bet you
because the wire is all wrapped up together. You're shortening the length because it's so close. I bet you it's some bullshit like that.
So now the guy who had that response video, right, at the bottom in the comments on his video, right, he's got like 20,000 hits on that video, right, and so the one kid, the most recent comment is like, that thing, it's dude, like, what are you, stupid? You don't realize this is a fucking troll? It's a joke? And then that guy, he responds to that. He goes, well, at least I'm finally getting some money from YouTube now. It's the most popular video that I've ever posted. You know what I mean? So he's like, he's got 20,000 hits. He must have got $1.35 from YouTube. You know what I mean? So that guy's fucking happy with it. So that was the highlight of my internet experience for the week. But I'll tell you what else I did see. I forgot to mention to you, Bob, and I posted it on the Wicked Theory Facebook page.
Yeah, are you talking about the next thing on the...
Yeah, there was a pilot. There was a... I don't know how involved Kevin Smith was.
Right.
But they shot a pilot for Clerks TV show. Now, it's a train wreck, obviously, because it didn't ever got picked up. But the highlight is that Jim Brewer is in it.
Oh, God.
And he plays Randall, a young version,
Okay.
So it's like a younger Jim Brewer. This goes back now to like, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Late 90s, probably by the time the TV show was going to get made.
Yeah, because it was late 90s when the cartoon came out, and I vaguely remember something about a pilot.
Yeah, so anyway, it was a train wreck. And one of the other things I couldn't finish watching it. But one of the other things that was interesting about it to me, too, is that the kid who plays Randall is doing like a very kind of Randall kind of delivery, where he's doing like this dry... Like, yeah, well, you know, hey, I'm the straight guy here. Like, you know, it's all about me, you know, not being a loser anymore. And I was just like, I'm done. I can't handle it. It's between him and then, like, it's Jim Brewer trying to, like, hold back. Like, basically, because I'm watching Jim Brewer not be, like, completely insane. Because this is pre-Saturday Night Live, too.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So he's, like,
How
young.
long ago was this?
So this is, like, this is, like, mid to late 90s, I would say this was made. This was shot. But, yeah, so it's Jim Brewer, like, you know, hey, try not to be too Jim Brewer. But, like, you know, but coming, like, it's like, right there, you know? So if you want to check that out, you can find it on YouTube. But I got to repost it to the Wicked Theory page.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Yeah. Look for it. You might dig it, at least for 5 minutes. So then also, you know, because we usually, during this segment, we cover stuff we're watching. The Brink, man.
Sorry, Dom, if you haven't been watching this one.
Are you up
Brink.
to...
Fuck yeah,
I know what I'm saying, but you're up to speed, right? You're
Absolutely. That last episode when she told him
that's
that she was going to gargle his fucking man juice or something.
Oh, my God.
That was hysterical.
The show is insane. The show is crazy.
There's no rules on this show because it's on HBO.
Jack Black might be one of the more reserved characters on the show.
Yeah,
which is something that you wouldn't have thought,
really.
like, you know, because he's playing...
Well, yeah, because his character can be that way because all this stuff's coming from his mind, so he's got it all out there. So he's got to play this guy straight.
Well, yeah.
You know?
I don't know how much he's involved in the writing and
creation.
creation.
Left.
But I don't know how much Jack Black's involved with the writing and the creation of that, though. But either still, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's nuts. This show is...
The show is fucking crazy.
If you're not watching
The Brink.
Yeah. There's 4 shows in a row that I watch on HBO, starting with True Detective, Ballers, The Brink, and then John Oliver.
Yeah.
And
me too. I watched the whole lineup.
The Brink is so much better than all of them.
It's like that, and sometimes, you know, stuff on John Oliver. The only laugh out loud or reaction you'll get. Because obviously, True Detective, you're not going to be doing any laughing out loud. Although you might. Some people say this season's, you know.
It's much funnier than last season.
Much funnier than last season.
Not funnier as in that it's actually comical.
No, I'll give you that too.
It's fucking terrible compared to last season.
I'll give you that too. Even on the comical side, where like a character is trying to, for a moment, bring some levity or say something like kind of like a jokish kind of thing.
Right.
Like, it still lands better than it did last season, which was like watching 2 fucking Undertakers fucking walk around. But I loved it last season. This season, it's better now near the end. It's kind of coming together. It took a while for it.
The last episode was very good.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
the Brink, man.
Brink, you know, loving the Brink. Brink is a hoot. It's a fucking hoot.
I love
literally
Tim Robbins.
I mean, any show where guys in a fighter jet, are high on morphine
during a mission,
right?
In the United States Air Force,
you know, qualified professionals.
They screw up royally.
These guys steal. Those guys steal the show. Those guys steal the show.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys steal the show.
I think Tim Robbins
steals the show for me, but I think that's just because
that whole bit with him like having to go to see the urologist was like
the whole. And you know what? Yeah, I take that back.
Just you know, there's not much more I can say.
Bag. I'm just thinking about the scene with the colostomy bag.
Oh my god, what was that?
No, I was going to say, you know, I don't want to sit here and describe scenes, you know.
No, the whole thing. No.
Yeah. The most we could say is just go and watch the show if you're not already watching.
Yeah, I kind of have to give something away because Bill and I talk about this stuff all the time, but we try and save it for the show. So
Bob talks, I listen.
You talk a bit too.
I know.
But, he likes to think he doesn't talk much.
I like to think that, but you got to set me up. I don't come in offering. Anyway.
I guess I'm just lonelier than you.
Anyway.
Silence. On that sad note.
Silence. Let's do news on that note. Let's go into a little actual news. Real newsy news.
Yeah, it sounds real good.
Yeah, it's good. Sounds like it's breaking through.
Right, like this. Nope. That ain't working.
Just waiting. Nope. Up. I think that's the news wire. That's the news wire. We have breaking news. Breaking guitars. No, loved it. It took a while to get there, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to be uncomfortable for you, Bob. So, a moment of silence for the Rowdy Piper. There you go. That's it. Grew up with that guy, man.
Yeah.
Grew up watching that guy screaming, and carry on.
Yeah, manliest guy in heaven right now wearing a skirt. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would definitely concur. You know, I fell off on a lot of wrestling, obviously.
Me too.
But, during the 80s, there was like, I don't know.
That was the heyday.
12 wrestlers, I think. That was the other thing, too. There was like, the roster wasn't as wide as it is.
There was a lot more.
God, there's so many guys now.
There was a lot more ham and eggers. There was not as many stars. That was the
definitely that. I'll give you that. There was a lot more jabronis. There was a lot more
now
fucking...
the show, there's enough guys that are like name guys that they just have all them all the time.
It's like give us as many personalities as possible, and we're going to... it's a different animal.
They focus a lot more on the divas nowadays, also.
Well, that's because they have that excellent show. Well, I don't know if it's excellent. I don't actually watch it.
It's not excellent, but it's
getting good ratings.
Excellente.
I put it that way.
I've seen it before, and it's only excellent in the fact that the
trained.
girls on the show are excellent looking.
Right. But otherwise it's like some
watching
manufactured drama of like vapid people.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
so it's the
90210.
Kardashians with wrestling.
There you go.
Honestly, man, it's worse than the Kardashians. I gotta admit.
Okay.
At least like when you watch a Kardashian show, they're a train wreck. But you could tell that majority of the stuff on that show isn't so fucking
completely scripted.
Yes, exactly. It's not like
or if it's scripted, or if at least if it's scripted, like she's good at delivery.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Maybe that's But
maybe it's just they're all so much plastic, so much plastic in their faces, you can't tell if they're lying or not.
Well, I'm going to take it from hearing you two guys talk about it, because I've never caught a second of it. It's just one of these things that
I've
super phony.
Like 30 seconds of it, just enough to know that they're all addicted to plastic.
Enough to know that it's not for me.
Yeah.
I was into it for a little bit, to be honest with you, man.
Right. Well, that'll happen to me too with crazy shows. If I try, sometimes that's my fear, and that's why I won't check out a show. Because I know it's trashy from the preset, but it could be so trashy that it's captivating or lures me in, and it's like I can't.
Yeah, it's that trashy female drama type stuff.
Well,
it's all
this in particular,
that's because it's all women on the show.
Right. But I get what you're saying.
Now it's really all women.
Well,
yeah, really, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, the only person who used to stand up on the show to pee is now a woman.
What about that one? I thought we were talking about the other one still, the wrestling one.
Oh, okay. I thought we had already gone.
The only man on that show is John Cena.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
only because he's like eloped to one of the divas.
Oh, so he pops up once in a while.
Yeah.
He comes in bringing cookies.
Yes.
He's a good guy. All right, well,
I can just see the footage from now. Yo, baby, the guy who's got the juice. You got his number. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Fuck, the cameras are here? Yeah, John, they're here every day.
I need my supplies.
I don't know.
No.
Speaking of fucking John Cena, though, I just want to mention, did you see the picture of his nose?
No.
He just, I guess like last week, I don't know, maybe during the week he was in like a big title fight.
Okay.
And
got his nose all smashed it up.
He got his nose like actually broken.
Nice.
And like the picture, people were just making memes and stuff on Twitter, just making a complete joke of it.
Right.
And it was just
John Cena's nose.
Yeah.
It was a gnarly picture of it though, or
yeah, it was a pretty like the nose is pretty fucking worth demented. Yeah.
Sending out the picture.
Yeah.
Tweet worthy.
Yeah.
So all right, back to the news. Because I really don't know what else to say about Rowdy Piper and wrestling. So
yeah, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. Wrestlers, they all die of heart attacks really young.
Right, in the 60s.
It's got to be
just the mileage.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero was in his 40s. He was still wrestling, and he had a heart attack in a hotel. He died at 61 in a heart attack.
To a certain degree, I think it comes from fucking the way that they treat themselves, man. One way or the other. Whether they stop doing it and then it catches up to them in their 60s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Remember these guys too. They all came out. The ones who were dying, they all came out when they didn't know for sure that steroids were bad.
Right. And to what degree?
They weren't technically illegal at first.
Right. It was all that stuff.
And so they were taking monstrous amounts of this stuff without really realizing what would happen.
Nobody knew what they were doing back then.
Some of them are on record as saying they didn't know, and they were doing 1 month supplies daily. Yeah.
Consider the world we live in now, where compared to then, where it's like, back then if you wanted to know, like if you were a guy like probably doing roids and shit, like, what's the proper way to do this? Like, you couldn't even find out. You would just be taking everybody's word for it. Because, nowadays with the internet and stuff like that, you can fucking do this kind of shit. But
it's crazy, though. I mean,
On with the news. Mm-hmm. So, big Game of Thrones news, kids. If you're into Game of Thrones, they've basically blocked it out now. Dom's working on some homework.
I'm listening.
Well, yeah, I guess. But
I heard Game of Thrones news, and I guess.
There you go. He's in the moment. No, actually, do you know what that breaks down to? The seasons, the agreement now with Game of Thrones?
Oh, so yes. yesterday they released that.
Because I don't even. I'm not 100%.
At least 8 seasons.
Okay.
Confirmed.
Sounds good.
Which to me kind of sounds like it's going to be 8 seasons, and that's really it. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I feel like when they say that, it's like, we're doing 8 seasons at least, or like, we're doing.
Well, I think what it's saying is that at least 8. 8 is the commitment. It could go more.
Okay. Right. That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as like I know what you're saying, like it could be less. It could end up being 7. Although I'm
saying it's going to be 8, and that's it. I think.
Okay, they're just kind of making it sound nice.
Yeah. That's what I was.
All right. Okay.
Well. It could just be that they have an 8-year plan for the story arc originally,
right?
And now HBO is totally on board with that 8-year plan and is giving them everything they wanted,
right?
And then maybe they'll get a little extra.
Yeah, I think it comes down to how when season 8 rolls around, it'll be how can we stretch out this last season? Much like how can we now do like when they make movies on books. Like the last Harry Potter or the last one of the stupid Twilight books. That's like, let's split the book in half.
Right, and they did that
and make
with,
2 more movies.
They did that with that. What's the one with what's her name? Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, Catching Hunger Games. Yeah, I think they're supposed to do the same thing with that.
The woman's action hero.
I'm pretty sure though in the book series.
Yeah, it's a good.
No, it's just action hero. Okay. If you wanted to.
Right, but that's what I'm just saying. That's what she is. I mean, it's really an action movie. Mm-hmm. For women, more or less.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean. It's a heroine in the story in the role of the hero. We normally always go to a movie and it's a guy.
Well, yeah. No, I as long as you're aware of that. Okay,
so they split. They split the last story in 2 from.
Right.
Pretty sure though that book series, the final. Installment of that is split into 2 parts, though.
Oh, it is a book where it's like 2 books? Oh, okay. She might have split that into 2 books? Yeah. She might have been like, you know what I could do, too. I could stretch this out, too, motherfucker.
Was that a woman writer?
Yeah. I forget her name, but...
it is. I think there's actually 3 books. I thought there was 3 books, and the second book is split into 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway, it's not really something we should talk. We can edit this all.
Moving on.
Why? All right, it's fine. It's our usual pointless banter that everybody seems to hate. Okay, so, but also, too, now, also hot off the presses for Game of Thrones, they just signed Ian McShane in an as-yet unspecified role because this whole next season is like nothing but mystery where we don't know where it's going, who's going to be playing what. But they did say that Ian's going to be in more of a limited capacity. So Ian McShane, if you're not aware, is Al Swearingen from Deadwood. So if you watch Deadwood, he was the main character on that for, what was that, like I think that was like 5 seasons on that show.
That's probably the least thing I know him from.
Well, then fill the audience in on some other stuff he's done, man. What do you got off the top of your head? Anything?
I mean, I've just seen him in so many things, but the most notable thing I can remember him being in was probably Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Very good. Very good. Good call. Yeah. I say Caribbean.
Caribbean?
Caribbean.
Okay. Oh, Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right.
I'll say it like that. I'll say Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right.
Of the Caribbean. All right. What else?
Fear the Walking Dead extended for another season.
And it hasn't even aired yet.
It's already been picked up for a 15-episode second season.
15-episode second season. 6 this year. Wow, man. 21 episodes committed to. And they also shot a pilot for a fucking Preacher, but we can't get a fucking serious commitment.
Yeah, I'd like to say this on air. I had a little Twitter interaction with Evan Goldberg the other day.
I know. Really? Evan Goldberg, one of the producers.
Very cool.
Yeah, very.
I tweeted him and I said, Evan, what the fuck? What the fuck, Evan? What's going on with Preacher? That's pretty much what I said.
Basically what he said. I saw a tweet.
I was like, yo, Evan, what the fuck is going on with the Preacher pilot? When are we getting a trailer for Preacher?
Well, I will say that you did tweet him once, got no response.
Yeah.
And then, like a couple days later, you tweeted him again, and I had the feeling, only because I'd seen both tweets, that I felt like the "what the fuck" was more about like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I asked you a question.
Yeah, that's
like it wasn't even about like, "Yo, what the fuck" with the show. It was like, "Oh, what the fuck? What about the Preacher?" Like, it was like, "Hey."
Oh yeah, pretty. Honestly, I've been tweeting him for like the past 6 months.
Oh, you're lucky you didn't get blocked yet.
Yeah, it was more of like just.
Hey, buddy.
Trying to fuck around and be like kind of not funny, but just like mess around and be like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
no.
Still a gutsy move because you don't know how people are going to take it when they read it.
If they'll even respond at all. But what did he say again? I'm sorry.
So he commented back like about a day or 2 after I had posted the original tweet and said something like, hopefully soon, but we still haven't gotten picked up for a full season yet, so we'll see where it goes.
Right.
Pretty much something like that.
Yeah,
And,
so that's your official
very
scoop.
heartbreaking. And
That is an official Wicked Theory podcast scoop.
It is,
by the way.
It is,
because I don't think that anybody else kind of is talking about that.
You're only hearing it here.
But then again, a Wicked Theory podcast scoop could just be me telling you, hey, I wear a size 10.5.
You had to ruin it. We had a real thing, and now you fucked it up.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
You had it for a moment.
I was just thinking about a Wicked Theory branded ice cream scoop that.
Oh, okay. I like that.
When you put it in the bowl, it's got the WT on it.
Nice. No, I like that.
There
That.
go.
There's money to be made.
There we go. Merchandising. Remember?
Merchandising. Who doesn't like merchandising? All right. So,
we had a bit of a scare with the Gambit movie.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on where we're at now. So,
for the past couple of days...
What's the deal?
Chatham Tatum. Because that's the only way, because I can't get it out right anymore. I used to be able to say it all the time. Tanning Chatham. And now I can't even say it anymore. It's Tattoo Chateau. I can't even fucking do it anymore, man. Anyway.
But,
I just think of Carol Channing. I'm sorry.
That's what throws me off. Is that name.
Yeah.
Dom's tired. He hates it when I interrupt him for jokes. No, I'm throwing him off, I think, is what things. So now they were shooting it. Well, they were going to start shooting right soon, and then rumor came out that he was kind of walking away from it or was unhappy, and now just today or last night?
Today, they said that he's definitely on board, and he'll definitely star in the Gambit film.
So
it makes me tired.
He's going to be Gambit?
Yeah, it makes me tired.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either, man.
I don't know why.
I haven't felt good about it since I heard about it.
That's kind of like reporting that vanilla is vanilla.
Yeah, it's it's just one of these things that just doesn't feel like a right kind of casting. Yeah. And here's the problem: is that because he wanted to be Gambit and talked about it and answered these questions in interviews, it started to steamroll on its own. So it's just it's not like a considered thing. It's not like anybody sat down and said who would be good for Gambit. You know what I mean? It's not like the studio picked somebody.
He's not really built like Gambit. He's a little too thick to be Gambit. You ask me.
No, I get that. Sure,
Gambit's got to be more acrobatic and lean. I think.
Well, he's fairly lean.
I mean, he can be built.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
But he's got to be. He's got to be more of a lean bodybuilder. Look.
And I don't even care about that as much. And I agree with you on that. He's got a different body type than we're used to seeing for Gambit. Gambit's got a runner's body, and he's more looking like a football player, not a linebacker, but he looks like he's on the team.
No, he definitely looked like a running back.
You know what I mean? But my point being that, my issue is, his chops. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you got to knock it out of the park to be fucking Gambit, but it's just I can't see him. How's he going to do, an American Creole accent?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know what I mean? But still,
I've always had two guys in mind for Gambit.
Sure, I'd love to hear it.
Number one would probably be Josh Holloway from Lost.
Okay.
Or
Sawyer, for those who don't know.
Yeah, Sawyer.
Right, yeah. That's actually a good choice.
And the second guy, you might not know what he looks like off the bat because I know you didn't watch the show, but I can't think of his real name, but he's in Sleepy Hollow, the TV series on Fox.
I did watch that. I wouldn't know the secondary character.
I didn't watch. No, he's the main character. He plays Crane.
He plays Ichabod. Yeah, he's not bad. He comes off real tall, but he's not bad. I'd like to see him in something.
Yeah, because I liked him in that show, and I kind of regret not watching the second season of that show yet. But I watched the first season and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, he was definitely a guy where it was when I watched that, as much as I felt like the show was corny as hell in the beginning, and supposedly it's gotten better, and even I will say that when I saw it at the end, it was getting better. But he was a guy that kind of felt if this doesn't work, he'll have work. Him and her, both of them, they feel like they are a little bit better than the show. Right. They really knocked it out of the park with casting, where it's you got these two hungry actors who are really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen her in something before. I can't remember what, but I've never seen him before that.
Yeah,
so.
She's definitely got this look about her, it seems like I've seen her somewhere before.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have, but she's pretty.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
Yeah.
So, anyway. I can't. I was saying this to somebody else during the week back to the Gambit shit, is that I would rather take Taylor Kitsch after watching him on...
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Wow.
Because he played it in... And it'll be just like with Deadpool. You know what I mean? Here's this version. You get to replay it, and we'll do it right this time, and we can all forget about what happened with Wolverine Origins. Okay, Ryan Reynolds gets to still be Deadpool, and we can pretend that didn't happen. Taylor Kitsch, we know you can act actually now after watching you on a couple of things, and so let's give you another shot. Oh no, I knew he could act too. I just didn't really ever seen him in anything. I know you watched him on Bright Lights Big City.
You just never watched Friday Night Lights. So.
Friday Nights Big City.
Exactly.
And Football
Small
101.
Town
Football 101.
Yeah.
It's Southern Bastards light.
Yeah.
Real light.
Yeah, real light.
But
it's true.
It's Southern Bastards fucking PG or just G.
Yeah.
But I'm off track. But my point being that seeing him, because I know he was John Carpenter from Mars too, right?
Yeah.
Because
I
didn't even see
wasn't
that.
a bad movie, man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see that.
That wasn't actually that bad. I mean, I haven't watched the whole thing, but it looks like a pretty good action movie. It's got a good story. It's based on a novel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a novel, supposedly everything that's ever come after it has been lifted from. Like, all Star Wars.
Right.
It's one everybody's like, yeah.
There's a comic hour now, I think, by like IDW or some shit like that.
They're doing a John Carpenter thing.
Yeah. It's not John Carpenter.
It's Larry.
John Carter.
John Carter.
Yeah.
John Carpenter, that's a different dude.
Yeah.
But,
that's the guy who wrote
my point being, though, that I would rather take another round with him at this point than...
Fuck yeah.
Well, certainly over Channing Tatum.
I like Taylor Kitsch a lot.
Kurt Russell. 30 years ago, Kurt Russell.
Old Man Gambit.
Old Man Gambit.
Old Man Gambit. I can't even hold his cards anymore.
There you go. If they want to do Old Man Logan, there you go.
You could do Old Man Gambit with a trailer. You can do
just have people watch Escape from New York.
No. Well, what happens is what's going to happen is that the trailer for Crazy 8, Quentin Tarantino's one, where he's in that, but he's got this crazy bushy mustache. That looks like a fucking squirrel just fucking took nest.
He's got one of those big
ones. Bro, it's like, it changes his profile in a shadow. Like, it's so big. Like, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. It's comical, almost, you know? But, so I was going to say that people could do like a re-edit and do like Old Man. But anyway.
Right.
Way on the outside. All right, so that was so that was Gambit, and then Deadpool. A little bit of news. So if you're listening, kids, this will come out Monday. But then on Tuesday on Conan, Ryan Reynolds is going to be on the show, and he's going to have the Red Band trailer for Deadpool, which was played at Comic-Con. Only like a really crappy version of it leaked out. And only I think the back half of the trailer as well. It wasn't even the full trailer.
Okay, so then this is a good thing.
This is a really good thing. And chances are they might have actually put in different scenes. They might have tweaked it a little bit. Who knows?
Right. It may not be the exact same version of that trailer.
Right. And then I think 2 days later, the Green Band version is going to premiere because it'll play that week. I forget what movie's coming out that week, at the end of this week. What's coming out this week?
Fantastic Four.
Yes, exactly that. This kid's good, right?
5 days.
Yes, he is.
I was just like, what's movie coming out? And he was like, Oranges.
August 7th, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I see all the advertisements.
Yeah, man, they're trying hard, bro. Yeah. And I am feeling...
Come on, we know it's August. We know we're screwing this license up.
Yeah. Come on, we're putting it at the end of the summer where there's nothing left to fight against.
One thing I want to throw out there, I know Billy knows this, but Bob will find this pretty funny.
You have my attention.
Fox will not allow the critics to release their reviews of the Fantastic Four movie.
That's always a bad sign.
Always a bad sign.
Always
it's either that
sign.
Or not having any reviews, not having a preview available.
That tells you right there.
Yeah, the embargo. I did see something.
This is a bad movie.
Yeah, there's the embargo on it.
Faith in it.
Yeah.
Then it's just they know it's not good.
Yeah. Or they're just afraid that. Because here's the other thing too. Yeah. It wouldn't take a lot for because that's what happens with the internet now. The internet. Yeah.
The internet for special people.
for just me. I'm special.
To be honest, I'm sorry,
but what I was going to get at is just that it wouldn't take a lot of bad reviews for it to snowball and to be perceived as a crappy film. If a few people who are within that circle of opinion makers kind of sites were like, nah, it's trash. You know what I mean? That's all it would take to generate, told you. And the movie really wouldn't have a fair shot. But,
that's what I was going to say. I think if it was really that bad and critics were trashing it, and that's why Fox didn't want the reviews to leak, I think we would know. So I think it might be some critics are, not really praising it, but saying that it's good,
I think they're definitely
they don't
nervous.
want you to know how good it actually is.
Well, because I think they're just nervous. They're just nervous.
Exactly.
Fox is super nervous. They know how easily all that money can just go right down the toilet.
I'm very excited for it. I really can't wait. I have full faith.
To have a week of reviews leading up to it, you know what I mean? And then have all this speculation online, just kill it. by Friday, they'll have no chance, you know what I mean, of making any money on it. So that's what they're looking at, like, you know what I mean? And so it serves them two purposes like that, like, you know?
It's a classic movie thing, though.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic sign of trouble or fear, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
You know, because I have a feeling that movie could, like, it could, it's one of those movies that if it was good, people wouldn't even fucking, like, there's still people out there who wouldn't give it a chance. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and they have such fucking laser focus on it being crappy that they might not even, you know, be able to see it anymore.
They're just such hardcore Marvel fans, they can't accept that all these changes.
I know people like that who are like, fuck Fox projects, like, altogether. Like, it doesn't even matter. I don't even want to know what they're making. Like, it's Fox, and it's that whole, you know, and they're such on the side with Marvel where it's just like, well, you know, rights issues and all that shit. They're like, well, fuck that shit. So, whatever. But,
like, from my standpoint, I really don't give a fuck if the movie's, like, that good or if it's that bad because it's the Fantastic Four.
Right.
I really give two fucks less.
On a personal level, for you, it's like those characters, meh, you know?
So, I mean, personally, but I know there's a ton of people out there for some reason that are, like, really into the Fantastic Four. And I
tell you what, that generation, that base, skews older.
Yeah.
And, you know, I bet you, you know, you would have had a probably easier time to convince them and get them to come on board if you had probably come at this with a different kind of like approach or pitch or something like that. But
I'm very excited for it though because it's so different. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a whole like multiversal travel and all that shit.
No,
like,
I'm interested to see how they do all that setup.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how it is overall
because it's not like the same old story. You know?
The thing makes me nervous on screen. Doom makes me nervous.
I don't think it does.
I don't care about the kid who plays the Human Torch. The girl plays Invisible Woman in some of the scenes. It's coming off a little hacky for me with her a little bit. So I have reservations, like, you know what I mean? And they're, you know, and they're based off of the trailer and the clips I've seen, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
the problem I have with people that have a problem with the way Doom looks, because I remember they like released that that whole like not just the profile picture, but like the whole face. I feel like that face that they're going with for Doom is like, you know, because I'm sure you guys have seen what Doom looks like underneath the mask. I feel like it's a culmination, like a combination of the mask and what he looks like underneath the mask.
Yeah, it kind of.
So I don't really have a problem with the way he looks.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with the way he looks either. I don't have that. That's not my issue because I feel like.
Oh, I thought that was your.
No. I feel like that's what they're going to do to the character and how are they going to change the character. Because too much came out ahead of time with that, where it's like, what the fuck is this going to be?
He was like a fucking hacker and shit.
He was a cyber blogger or some shit, and they changed his name.
That's horrible.
He's actually like his name is like Domachev or Dumachev. Now it's one of these. So that kind of thing is always like a little hacky. Whenever they do that kind of shit, like if my supervillain name is fucking Sir Booms a lot, don't make my last name Boominghauser. You know what I mean? Like let's not do that. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
it just shows poor planning and having to, if you have to change a character's name, a character like that.
Yeah, you're worrying about the wrong stuff, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the last thing you need. I mean, because you're talking about a medium that when you read it has characters like, let's go to the Flash, Mason Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay?
You know what I mean?
Well, you come up with the name because a Mason builds a bridge. Right. Mason Bridge.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Like, it's like saying, like, Ben Grimm. You know what I mean?
Don't try and play in that same
he's supposed to be a sullen kind of character because he's all rocky now and his last name is Grimm. Let's change that because it's too on the nose or something. Because that's what you did with the Doom. Yeah, but then, it's like, his name is Doom and he's Dr. Doom. Was that too on the nose? Like,
yeah, but... Then it's already been established.
Exactly.
And it doesn't
That's why
matter.
I hate the Fantastic Four.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's like why I hate Fox to a degree. It's like, don't muck with it so much.
Right.
You know?
There's no reason to change a character's name.
Yeah.
You know, the Invisible Girl is the Invisible Girl.
If there's any one thing that we've learned from Marvel doing their own movies is that, like, the very simple basics of it, don't bother changing. Right. That's not the place to waste your time focusing.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And that's so names, fine. That's automatically.
Right. If there are things that don't apply nowadays because, like, when it was created, it makes it completely dated, then that's why I have no problem with the Fantastic Four going to, like, another dimension now. And they're not going into space. Right. Like, that's fine for me.
And when you say that, that's why I have no problem with I didn't have a problem with the original Spider-Man having the webs become...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to... whatever. Like, to me, it's half dozen of another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
But, anyway, let's get back to news. We sidetracked quite a bit. Bob, I don't know if you know this. I really don't have a lot of info on it, but they're making a Johnny Quest movie.
Really?
Yeah. Robert Rodriguez is going to direct. And I think the thing I saw today was that
with the Punjabi kid.
Punjabi kid and the white kid and the two guys, the two grown men who are like, uncomfortably always with these two boys all the time, going on high adventures
with their shirts off.
Yeah, most of the time, was it Race Cannon? I think.
Yeah, Race Cannon, and the guy with the beard is like his engineer buddy. Or
did you ever watch
Race Cannon's like the millionaire with the boat and all that.
Did you ever watch Venture Brothers? You ever see Venture Brothers on Cartoon Network? Yeah, which is a whole Adult Swim version of Johnny Quest. Yeah. So, but anyway, I don't have. There's not a lot of info on it, really. I don't think, but it's going to be about a kid, but not necessarily for kids. I think is what they were saying. So it's not going to skew really little. It's going to be like teens and older.
It's going to be basically like the original show, but a little bit more current.
Yeah, so I'm picturing something like Mission Impossible with a kid, like to a degree, globe-trotting, high stunts, amazing shit. Okay. Yeah. It could work.
Yeah, and if they do it right with 3D, CG, that kind of stuff, it can kind of be cutting edge too if they do it right and they edit it right,
So also in the news, and probably you've probably seen it by now, but there's this video from the Foo Fighters. Well, not from the Foo Fighters, but it's 1,000 people in Italy all playing the Foo Fighters song.
1,000 of my brothers.
Of your brothers?
My brothers.
Oh, your musician brothers. Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm like, you're not even Italian. We're like raised. We're not even real Italian. Like,
Mom, there's no way Mom could have had 1,000 kids.
Yeah, I mean, well, with the option, I guess.
2004.
2004.
Yeah, because 4 originally.
Oh, yeah, true. That's true. We are the beta models. So 1,000 people played this Foo Fighters song in Italy, and it was all trying to get Foo Fighters to come to Italy. And so I guess that's what you got to do to get them to come to Italy.
I guess so.
Because it worked.
Yeah, it seems to have worked.
They're going to Italy. And,
at least in a Twitter comment or something. Right?
You don't know the name of the song, right? Which song it was?
Learn to Fly.
Learn to Fly. So it's a really cool video. You should check it out. You should find it if you haven't.
They're telling them, hey, learn to fly. Come over to Italy.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, Bob.
Man, they should have changed it. They should have made it start to fly or it's time to fly. They should have changed that word. Yeah. And I'll tell you the one thing. I didn't realize how many times they say the chorus over and fucking over in that song until watching that video. And I was like, damn, he's just... The whole back third of the song was just the chorus over and over and over again.
That's the happy part. That's the happy part.
Yeah. Well, it is more of an upbeat kind of song from them. So that's all I got for news. Tom, you got news left on your sheet?
Marvel and Netflix.
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah.
Oh, right. There was something
the schedule. Yeah.
So Marvel came out.
About that.
Marvel came out and said that their partnership with Netflix will be consisting of a new show every 6 months from the start of Daredevil. So since when Daredevil premiered, 6 months from that date, we'll get Jessica Jones. Right. Then 6 months from Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
6 months from that.
6 months from Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Then 6 months from Iron Fist, The Defenders.
The Defenders movie.
And then...
the super duper team up of secondaries.
Yes. And then I assume they'll come out with a couple more, shows after that.
I would think there might be another
because
round.
Of the success of Daredevil, I'm sure the rest of them will be as successful.
They may not overrun their cup, overfill their cup too much. Like I would think that they wouldn't do like a whole another. Well, here's another 4. They would wait to see how these other ones get received, and then say, okay, maybe we'll do 2 more other shows or. Do some kind of format that kind of rotates out a little bit, maybe.
Right. I would assume that if John Bernthal's schedule permits, maybe hopefully we'll get a Daredevil, a Punisher show.
Yeah. And if done right, man, that's the one I want.
This makes me happy.
As much as the Preacher, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. This makes me happy because I feel like it opens the door a little bit more for Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Punisher, and the Defenders, for that matter, to be installed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in the movies, because now they have this. I feel like now they have this thing going. Maybe
the movies have more to dip into. I mean, the movies have more to maybe bring to the table in a way where it's like if they need. Characters to kind of like step up and fill slots in a way, like, because actors disappear or contracts get tight, and it's like, all right, well, this guy in this story isn't available right now. We could slip the Punisher in that character
I'd love
slot or something like that. You know?
to see the Punisher in fucking Civil War.
Oh my god! If he popped up in Civil War like the way he does in the fucking comic, that would be a great twist. Speaking of
that, would actually probably be a good thing too, because this can get really convoluted, very quick, and if you go getting towards the end, if you need to shake things up and bring everybody back to a common point of interest, and you bring the Punisher in, that'll do it.
Yeah. And Daredevil too, because I love that Daredevil character.
Yeah,
but I just can't see them doing what fucking DC does with the Flash and Arrow universe. You know
I mean,
because I assume that they're gonna have the Green Arrow somewhere in their DC cinematic universe.
I think it'll depend. How Marvel will only do what Marvel wants to do, but if they see that DC, this kind of crossover thing is really doing well for DC, and people start wondering why Marvel's not doing it, then they're going to have to start doing some of that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, because it's not. Like, they officially, passed, a Flash.
In DC, you know and Warner Brothers' whole schematic is TV stuff is TV stuff.
Yeah, that's
movie stuff is movie stuff.
Okay,
so there's not going to be any
crossover
stuff.
The only hope anybody's got...
crossover for TV.
No.
So, because DC is that's not on their plan. The only hope anybody's got is that maybe one day someone will say, okay, it's multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
And the movies and the other worlds can cross over. But in reality, all you would get was TV stars going out into the movies to pop in. You wouldn't get any big movie stars. Chances are to pop on the TV shows.
Arrow.
Chances are mostly what you would get is not even any of that, but you would just get some kind of basic acknowledgement of that's the situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, TV shows happen in one world, the movies happen in another world. Maybe one day they'll cross over. Maybe, because, multiple realities have been established on the Flash show, so maybe we're just another one of these Earths. It's all about Earth 2 and Earth 3 and Earth 75. This could be Earth 107.
That's why I don't think Marvel will... do that. I think they always tend to do the opposite.
Marvel's not going to break from
maybe not
now.
intentionally.
No
maybe not like they intentionally do this, but I feel like the two companies usually do the opposite of what the other does for the most part.
I could see Marvel doing a show that does stand alone somehow because it's a property that stands alone. Like, depending on what the actual...
On Netflix?
Well, on Netflix or in some other way. Like, I could see Marvel saying, well, we have a character or a story or a comic book that we've done. I can't think of an exact thing. Well, Dazzle is an X-Men now. You know what I mean? You're not hip to it.
Really?
Yeah, she's back. She's an X-Men now. She's running in the X-Men books. You know what I mean? But and she was always kind of coming in and out of those books.
She was like a level C character for a long time.
Well,
she had her own book for a little bit.
Yeah, it was disco era, baby.
Yeah,
the mirror balls,
the glitter, the mirror balls,
mirror balled
earrings.
Yes, mirror ball earrings, but also the shoes were like her roller.
They were all mirror covered.
Her roller skates were all like mirrored and glittered and bedazzled and shit.
Yeah, well, she was like a dancer who could use light to blind people so she can get away, basically.
Well, they keep it trendy. It's like not disco, but she is like a pop star still and all that shit. But I don't even know where my point is.
She's Ariana Grande now.
Well, a little older. So, what else? Newsy? Nerd news.
Marvel announced a new Black Knight comic series. I don't know how much that means to you, but I never heard of it.
Let me tell you, Black Knight means zip to me. Like, as far as, I know exactly who he is, and he means still zip to me. He's one of those characters who was like one of those, don't get me wrong, he enjoyed a run in Avengers for a while in the 80s and 90s, but I was just like, there was no connection. It was just some dude in a suit with a sword, and he was there. Yeah. Other people will disagree with that, but I like the look of the relaunch.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't know if you read the... description of it?
I did.
You did?
I did. And that's what threw me off. I was like, well, weird world. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Well, that to me sounded awesome because he's, like a Jon Snow type guy who's going to like...
Well, you read that, the full article where the guy is breaking it down and saying it's kind of like Breaking Bad meets Game of Thrones.
Right. And how he's going to like kind of...
have a story
save... right? That's kind of what I took from it. That he's like going to be like once the whole Secret Wars thing ends, he's going to be the one left, like in these two specific areas.
Right.
And he's the one that's going to like kind of
He's got some princess
the world or
some
shit.
Yeah, he's got some big thing to do. But I think what he means by Breaking Bad thing. I think what he means by Breaking Bad thing
was the character.
Was the character too, but I think he might also mean like the way that the story arc is like kind of predestined, where it's like you know where it's going. Whereas with Breaking Bad, like you know the whole story was supposed to be about a guy who goes from being a regular guy, school teacher, to a fucking drug kingpin kind of thing.
No, I think you in the article he says it's Jon Snow meets Walter White. So I think he was just talking about the character, like
okay, maybe. Oh,
you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he was like
until we
Game of
see it.
Thrones
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
You know, that's how I took it. But it could always be that way. The writer might have put like a hidden message in there. But
he might have been getting a little too crazy with the analogies, and that's what's. But he picked a couple of good ones if he wants to get some traction on it, and the artwork looked really good. Yeah. You got anything else over there, Palsy?
I would just like to add that.
I would just like to add, ladies and gentlemen,
before while we were talking about Game of Thrones and how it's going for at least 8 seasons, we didn't include the most important part of it.
Yeah. You're right. We skimmed right over it.
The most exciting part.
The most craziest of all.
A prequel has been confirmed, ladies and gentlemen.
A prequel has been confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember the Game of Thrones music? If you tried right now, could you pull it out?
No, sorry.
Pop quiz. And I get compliment. You get compliments on that episode too. I heard from a couple of people, and they were like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, man." And he was like playing them, and that was an episode where, like, you know, you didn't.
I was all over.
Yeah, because he was like, you know, that wasn't your show, so you were like, man. I was like, well, that's why he's playing it so much. It was really just to kind of keep himself engaged, like, you know what I mean? Although it sounded good. Anyway,
yeah.
So, what do we know about this prequel season thing?
Well, I mean,
at this point, do we know anything?
The prequel?
I mean,
because
officially?
they were so vague about it and said, we're confirming a prequel.
Okay.
They never said if it was going to be at the end of the 8 seasons or if it was going to be thrown into the middle of the 8 seasons. So
gotcha.
That's something that I know I've talked about on this show and that we've talked about in private that I've been dying for to add in a season.
There's so much more material that they could do.
Add in a season that is away from the regular storyline, you know, with Daenerys and Tyrion and Jon Snow before.
Right. Team.
To have stuff, maybe not just based on one specific era,
right?
But because there's like 3 or 4 different eras that we are so, like, you know,
always kind of talking about.
Yeah, and that we want to know more about. Maybe they could like bounce around in that prequel season or in the prequel show, whatever.
I like
it's
the idea
be.
of that, where it's not just a straightforward.
Well, that's what I've always said. Yeah, you start with like the
do
first
something that
men.
seems more like it's like a historic retelling. Or
like the first men, the children, what happened in the rebellion.
He's very simple with his names.
The
first man, he's the first man. The children, his children. The rebellion, it was a rebellion.
Yeah. Exactly,
but no.
That's why that's what makes it so intriguing to me.
Simplified names, simplified names for things, and still it starts being like the names of people.
Oh, by the way, I'm meeting George R. R. Martin this week.
You are? I forgot that you have scheduled a dinner date.
Yes.
Really?
What is the?
Make sure you get selfies with him.
Yeah. What are the parameters of this?
So we mentioned it a couple months ago on the show when Brian was here. That he was making an appearance at the Staten Island Yankee game on August 8th. So I bought tickets. I'm going to go. I'm going to receive a Staten Island Direwolf hat that I'm going to wear the rest of my life. And
in a plastic bag.
Yes.
So it stays nice.
Yeah,
the first
like
4...
Sweat getting in there.
The first 400 fans get to all line up for like 4 hours.
Boy, you better
wait
get there
online
early.
and...
Damn, man, you better get there the night before, man. If it's going to be like only 400 people are going to get signed, and if you do get online...
There's 500,000 people on this island. And, 100,000 of them got to be at least partial, a little bit retarded.
Here's what I want you to do.
Well, the game starts at like 7, so I'm planning on getting there around like 2, 3 o'clock.
Should you get in? Should you be able to get online?
Get an exclusive interview?
Should you be able... Well... Now, seriously speaking, like, I was going to do something goofy.
So just, like... Yeah. Get a few words or something.
Yeah. Like anything you'd like to say to
to your fans on the Wicked Theory podcast. Anything you want to say to your fans on the Wicked Theory podcast?
No, you don't have to embarrass yourself. But what I would like you to do is to try and sit on his lap for your selfie. That would be great. Like, can we take a picture like Santa Claus? Can I sit in your lap?
Dude, then you gotta like use that as the Wicked Theory podcast logo.
Well, here's what you do.
I was kind of hoping to get a video of me going like this. And
how about you just
having my phone in selfie form and going like this.
but actually taking the video
for the watch.
Give him a little pinch, like you're stabbing him.
Just fucking squeeze a little beer belly.
Squeeze his little nip, maybe. Squeeze his fucking chubby tit.
Or maybe just fucking yank it.
Oh, yank his beer a little bit. That's what I like, because I was going to say that too. You should do the fake out with the selfie thing, where it's like, you look like you're just taking a picture, but you're actually recording video.
Yeah, that's
like, you know what I mean? And just, you should do that. At least do that, where it's you guys both wait awkwardly for it to go.
For the watch.
And then, like, he'll just be an awkward moment. Get 15 seconds of awkwardness. You and George.
I would like to have that 15 seconds.
Practical Jokers, because they did something just like that.
Oh my god, this guy loves Practical Jokers so much.
Those guys came to
Thursday night. There's nothing else on there.
Yeah.
So
while I was at Farrell, they
came to school.
They came like every year, pretty much.
Yeah, one of them is alma mater or something like that.
All four of them.
All four of them went there.
And they were a comedy group called the Tenderloins.
Oh, okay.
When you see the opening credits, you see the Tenderloins, and you see them and the cab, and they're going from Staten Island into Brooklyn or the city or whatever. And but yeah, they're all from Farrell. So.
Very, very cool guys too. If you got a chance,
one of them is so cool. I think he follows me back actually on Twitter. I don't know for sure, but I think he does. But we know how that goes. That don't mean shit.
Right.
But anyway.
Just because it don't necessarily mean shit doesn't mean you can't use it.
No, that's true too. This is true. Look, I got Greg Pak, who was a writer for Marvel. You know what I mean? He follows my Tumblr. I've been hooting about that since the day he fucking started following it.
That's
and all that took was for me. Exactly. All that took for me to get was a repost of a Hulk drawing I found. Like, you know what I mean? So I'll take him where I can get him. All right, I'm back. I gotta take a little boys' room break. So I appreciate you two waiting, and then you at home for waiting too. It was like so fast for you. These guys had to wait like an hour. Yeah. So I think the last thing on the news is that I wanted to cover, and I just kind of remembered it, was that James Woods is suing somebody on Twitter for $10 million.
Yeah, he's suing some anonymous Twitter user. He doesn't even really know the name, at least according to the article I just read.
Okay.
For saying that he's a cocaine user, that he's still using cocaine.
Oh.
In a Twitter comment. It was like a one-line comment.
Huh.
He didn't even use all 140 characters. So I don't think this was meant to be a really serious thing.
Right.
James Woods has taken it that way because it's on the public record.
Right. Or at the very least, he's choosing to make a scene about this or something.
Defamation of character, $10 million. So.
Yeah, I wonder how many followers that kid's got. I wonder how many followers he's gotten since.
Yeah.
There you go, James. You might help bolster his account.
So,
I think like, he's trying to make a point of something, and it's like, dude,
he's everyone kind of knows that he's pro pot,
yeah.
He's kind of pro drugs a little bit,
right.
And so at least that's the perception that he has, because there's been a few movies he's played like pot smokers and stuff.
Yeah, and he's spoken publicly about stuff.
Pot smoking lawyer at one time, so.
No internet connection.
I think he needs to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, he probably does. I mean, he's I was waving off Dom because he's having an internet connection problem.
I think this guy, may or may not, he's just basing it off of whatever little bit he's seen.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's probably busting balls like in a way like a million Twitter users do. Like, to me, it's like, dude, if this is the worst thing someone's actually said about you on Twitter, you either aren't looking hard enough, or you should consider yourself lucky. You know what I mean? Because there are worse accusations about you on Twitter than this dude. I'll tell you that.
To a certain extent, it's like the same group of 12-year-olds on Twitter that are on Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly. Xbox Live,
Duty, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think he needs to, everything's got to be taken with a bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah. And it's like, you're giving it more validity by doing this.
And what if he finds out that this is actually a kid?
Yeah, then what?
What's he going to do? He's going to sue the kid for $10 million?
Well, he's going to sue mommy and daddy, I guess.
Yeah, sue mommy and daddy. Yeah. I'm like, all right, fine, sue me for $10 million. But you know what? I'm never going to one of your movies again.
Right.
You're never that good an actor anyway.
You haven't been working a lot lately. Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's
he needs to make Family Guy, and that was a few years ago.
Yeah, maybe he needs to make a house payment. That's what this is all about. All right, so that's the basic news stuff. But now, we didn't have a main topic for today, so I kind of put it out to the webosphere, and I I put out a tweet and I put out a post on Facebook, and I was like, yo, doing a show today. Who's got topics? You know what I mean? So I got one from on Twitter from Sebastian Howley, and he followed me right afterwards. But he goes, I'll give you a topic. And he posted up a picture of, I don't even know the character's name, but what's his name? Saturday Night Live, Coffee Talk. Mike Myers doing Coffee Talk, and he was like, I'll give you a topic. The Partridge Family was neither partridges nor family. Discuss. So I think he's wrong on both counts. They kind of were a family.
Well, I think, technically they were all a family. They were all a group, and they were all...
There was some brothers and sisters in there.
There were all brothers and sisters in there, and there was the mom, and the dad wasn't around, so maybe that's what he's getting.
Was one of those kids adopted on that show?
The two little ones, I think, weren't hers. They were cousins that were living with them.
Yeah, they found them in a house fire or some shit.
They were living with them because they were part of the band.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some kind of child labor law loophole let them keep the kids.
Yeah, there was something going on. I think there might even have been a reason to allow David Cassidy and the other girl and a girl to hook up or something or two. I don't know.
Right, but even now, let's consider this: even if they weren't a family,
right?
They're living in California, which is like hippie central.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Sure, especially back then.
Right. After all, come on, we'll call their bus.
Right. There was every color.
So, what's to say they didn't fall in love with partridges as an animal and take them on as their mascot and their name, and then through that they bonded and became a family in the hippie sense.
Yeah, you went really far with that one.
No, but you know, he was asking for an explanation.
Well, I don't think. It was more of a goofy he was putting on, so I was trying to write it that way. They're definitely not partridges.
Here. This is just we discussed.
This is just a little coffee talk. They are certainly not partridges. I'll agree with you there, and they are kind of a family. Mm-hmm. All right, but so I want to thank Sebastian Howley for sending that one out. At SEB Howells. That's his address. So then on Facebook, Brian first gave me the heads up all about that Game of Thrones news. He's like, oh, you got to make sure you talk about that. So I was like, thanks, Brian, for that. But then he also, because in the picture that I posted, it's, the logo for the show and a whole bunch of these goofy... pictures of Superman, it's a picture of this, it's, all these different shows and shit. And so one of them is Destro, so Brian must have got the crystal clear idea, and he was like, Destro's cock, do you think that's made of metal too? And I'd have to say no, it's not, because Destro wears a mask. But this is not to say he'd be above having some kind of steel condom. Or something, or something like that.
I think it's just a codpiece.
I think
the whole act of his is to make up for inadequacies. Yeah. So then he's got the codpiece.
That's why he's overcompensating for something.
Yes, I think
so. Okay. Then a real topic to a degree. Wait. One more goofy one. From my friend James Kenny on that same post. He wants to know. When the thing takes a shit, what's really going on down there?
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it. I never thought about it. Everyone talks about the thing's dick. Like, what does the thing's dick look like? But no one's ever asked. I've never heard anybody ask, what happens when he takes a shit?
I don't think women are really going to be complaining too much about his dick.
I think they will be complaining more than you realize. You just haven't thought it through.
Yeah.
Number one, that thing absorbs lubrication like you couldn't believe.
Yeah.
And B, number two, it's just not really ribbed for her pleasure. It's not ripped for anyone's pleasure.
Maybe not,
the surface of that is like, the surface of the moon. Not exactly inducive. Conducive, I should say.
Be kind of like sandpaper.
So I was thinking about it, probably far too much, about his question, about shitting. And all I can really think is that I don't know how it's going on, what's coming out.
Come out.
But the wiping's got to be a problem. And a bidet's not going to be enough. You have to get a pressure washer.
Right.
He's got to get Johnny to give him a pressure wash, I think.
Right. I was just thinking that maybe it's kind of like Midas. Where because it starts out as a malleable substance in the body, but the moment it touches the outer butt cheek, it's like the Midas's finger with the gold.
Okay, like once it hits the air, it kind of turns
to rock.
Turns to rock too, because when you think about it, okay, science boy, I got you. I'm meeting you halfway here. Hold on. If your bodily waste has got all this kinds of blood and all these kinds of other wastes in there, like your DNA is in there and all this stuff. All right, maybe it's conceivable.
It can't be, it can't come out. It can't be in there like that.
No. Well, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. It would definitely get all caught up in there.
Really?
It'd be jammed up. I think.
Absolutely.
It's a little too much fiber for that guy. But yeah, I'm thinking he needs a team to kind of help him clean that off, though. Toilet paper is going to be a nightmare.
You know what?
Toilet paper is going to be a nightmare.
I got an easy fix for that.
Okay.
Bidet.
But I just said that. The bidet's not going to be powerful enough.
You don't think so?
You see the fucking texture of that rock?
All right, so you upgrade it. You use it with like a friggin' fire hose.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said before. That's why you have to get a pressure washer. And then in order to do that right, you got to get a friend. Because the pressure
Can't
washer...
a little kid because they'll be up in the air flapping
around.
And
like you can't do it yourself because that freaking gun is so long. You can't angle that right, I don't think. Listen, folks, we want to talk about serious topics on this show.
Mr. Clean. They make that thing to wash the cars with Mr. Clean.
I'll take a garden hose. Garden hose might be easier.
There you go. The garden hose with the Mr. Clean thing on it. There you go. And it's shiny when you're done.
And now that I think about it, Reed would just invent something to help him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he wouldn't want to have to wipe him.
Dom is embarrassed by this show. I just want you to know that. Highly embarrassed.
Well, besides, I just realized something else. The thing, his arms, they're big and they're rock. How's he going to... I don't think he can reach back there.
Yeah, the mechanics of it. Yeah, I can see
he's only got 3 fingers on his hand.
And they're big, goofy fingers.
Each one of them was like a golf club.
He's got shoes for fingers, they're like these horrible shaped things.
Baseball mitts for fingers.
They're not really made for dexterity.
It's like 4 catcher's mitt on top of a catcher's mitt.
All right. Enough of this fucking talk, okay? Because this is disgusting.
Well, you started it.
I did. I did decide that this was a fine topic for the show. Yeah. All right.
Let's class it up the show a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So now on to a much better question that we can actually probably get into a little bit. Comes from my a friend on Twitter, Agent Palmer, who's been digging the show lately. Who I was very happy to have a little bit of interaction with as he was listening to the last episode, and he was getting some chuckles from things. But he's, there's a thing going around, and it kind of came to a head about a few months ago because Machinima or IGN, one of these YouTube channels, made a really high-end kind of fan film of Batman versus Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. And it kind of trended real high. And even on a show that me and my friend here, Agent Palmer, both listened to, 7 Days a Geek, they kind of got caught up in it, and it became a freaking... it became a big deal about who would really win in a fight, Batman versus Darth Vader.
So before we get into it, though, who won in the video?
Well, I'm glad you asked, and I didn't even set you up for that, but I am glad you asked, because they copped out. So they released the video in which Darth Vader wins. But, like a day later, they released an alternate ending in which that ending happens, but then Batman beats him. Not only does Batman beat him, but I'm pretty sure Batman in that alternate ending doesn't really beat him. He gets Superman to finish the job. It's one of these things where Batman's finally got the upper hand, and it's like, oh yeah, look out the window, and there's Clark, and Clark I think just freaking uses the heat vision on him or something stupid. To be honest with you, I don't really remember the end, but I'm pretty sure Superman comes in to save the day. But regardless, they copped out by saying, here's our official ending. Well, here's an alternate ending in case you're an annoying Batman fan and you need to have this.
And it kind of sounds like this thing was made in response to the Superman-Batman movie.
Well, it was before that.
This is how we want to see.
Well, this is one of the things they do on some of these channels, and a couple of guys do it on YouTube, and on another channel, and they do it really well, is they do all these kind of superhero fights where they have a real showdown between Wolverine and, Batman. And they get a couple of actors in really good kind of quality costumes, and they make an 8-minute video out of it, superhero showdown or something like that. And
that would be a good fight.
And most of these videos are usually pretty good videos. So now I'll pose the question to you guys. As for what you guys think, I mean, I already have an opinion, but I'm not trying to force it on anybody. So who wins in a fight? As much as you may know of Batman and Vader's abilities and shit like that, in your mind, who wins?
Go ahead, you go first. All right. Well, I think it all depends on which Vader you're fighting.
Okay.
Because the Vader you see in the newer movies, where he's younger,
young Vader,
he's jumping around, spinning up in the air, and all this other stuff.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Now, in the original movies, where he's older, he just casually strolls around while he's smacking Luke Skywalker around and teaching him a lesson.
Okay.
Until the very end.
Okay.
So.
If you've got him in his prime, I guess. Let's say, okay, so let's...
I don't know. See, now I'm thinking about it. I don't know, because now you got to remember, younger Vader has less experience. And he's, based on how they portray him in the movie, he's a spoiled brat.
Right.
So he can, I could see Batman, getting the one upper hand on him and smacking him around.
Okay.
And teaching him a little bitch boy lesson.
Right.
But, the older Vader, because he knows his powers now, I mean, he can set it up so that Batman never gets near him.
Okay. All right, Dom.
Yeah. So what's your verdict on this?
I honestly am not sure.
Okay, we'll come back to you because I have a thing in mind. But Dom, what do you think? Where are you leaning?
I like Bob's approach to depending on which version of either character. But I would have to say probably Batman.
Okay. So here's the thing. I like that your answer was very short and concise. Yeah, but it could have been a little longer. His could have been a little shorter. Yours could have been a little longer. Creating you both.
Would you like me to explain?
Yeah. Would you care to elaborate? Sure. I'll take some elaboration.
I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan, so I couldn't really tell you each and every strength dissected.
Okay, I got you. If you're good, so comparing their skill sets, it's like
just from what I've seen through the movies and other side videos and shit. Darth Vader is more of just like a, swordsman kind of, obviously, but obviously it's not a sword.
I got you.
It's a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But
okay, well,
so Batman, I think, is much more agile, and like Bob said, when we're getting this specific about it, you would have to make a decision on: is it Bruce Wayne from Batman vs Superman, where he's in his 50s, and is it Darth Vader from the 4, 5, and 6 movies.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
here's the thing. It's like, exactly. Like when you start really overthinking it, it's like, well, you need parameters for this thing. Because here's the other thing with Batman. And here's why it's a big nerd deal online. Because there's like a contingent of Batman fans who swear that Batman could basically just beat anybody if he's given prep time. Because that's Batman's thing. Is the Batman always, in the end, has something up his sleeve. Sure. He has a trick. He's ready. That's why in this alternate ending for that video, in the end, it's like, oh, no, Clark is here because I told Clark to be here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's always this real plot convenience kind of thing. Right. So if you set up parameters where, A, they're both in their prime. All right? They're both at the height of their physical skill sets. Youth. Okay? And it's a spontaneous fight. Whereas neither one of them knew about it, stumbled on each other. Neither one is ready. They only have on them what they have on them. But for me, even knowing all that, or knowing any other parameter really, to me, Vader wins if you follow just one simple basic thing, which is the old thing of if Batman fought Superman, really, Superman could kill him in a second just by putting a beam through his head.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of holds true for Vader if you remember that he has the Force. And in movies, it's telekinetic, basically, and he chokes dudes out.
Yeah.
Which not even using his hand.
Yeah.
So, unless Batman kind of got the surprise on him, which in a physical tussle, I could say.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Because of the Force.
Right.
But
Batman
has defeated Deathstroke on numerous occasions, and Deathstroke, I know he doesn't have any supernatural powers like Superman or Darth Vader, but he is supposed to be in of all comics and everything the most skilled,
he's supposed to be like the best
hand-to-hand combat fighter.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean I'll give you that, and that's fair to a degree.
Actually, after hearing everybody, I'm thinking now that if it's younger Vader,
both of them in their prime. Both of them in their prime. Whether that puts them older or younger. All
right, I'm thinking
even if they're not the same age, but they're just
If we're talking about equal, we're talking about equal age, equal personal experience. Batman.
Okay, because
like I said, young Vader is a kid. He's a brat. He's spoiled. Right. So
but he's the best Vader, but without necessarily fighting the kid. If the kid's not that good, we're talking about his prime, not his age. Not necessarily his age prime, but his prime as a fighter. His prime as the height of his power and ability.
All right, well,
I'm not talking about age prime. I'm talking about because Batman, same thing. Batman early in his career isn't that greatest. I mean, he takes some hits, but he still wins all the time. But he takes some hits.
Well, then it depends on if they're talking about Vader actually knows how to do the mind choke.
Okay.
If he does, then then it's over.
Well, if he's in his prime, I would say he has to.
If he doesn't, then I think Batman wins.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think these are fair enough.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as you got the Brannicky Anakin, and then you got Darth Vader from the original movies.
Right.
And
it's definitely two different eras.
Batman is the Batman that we generally see.
Right.
at the height of his prime,
right.
doing his thing, then versus young Anakin.
No, I got you. He'll definitely take out that kid. That kid doesn't have
then the older Vader, at best, I think Batman can hope for is a draw.
Okay.
If you're talking about more experienced Vader, it's a draw.
What about less experienced Batman?
Batman will not let it become a loss because it'll just be he'll know he can't do anything and he'll disappear.
Right.
So come back.
He does have that
deception and magics and theatrics.
He does have that ability.
He does have a bag of
He
toys.
knows. Okay, this is it. What I got on me ain't going to help me. I'm out of here.
Right.
I've lived to fight another day, and that's part of what he does. So,
right.
So it would never be anything less than a draw.
Right. Wow.
So if Batman and Vader were in a bar,
right.
And Batman spilled his beer on Vader's mask, and it started
sparking, fizzling,
and then they fought. I think they would lose.
I think they get kicked out.
Yeah.
I think the cops would come.
I think if Vader is in a bar without his helmet on, there's no one else in the bar.
Well, here's the thing I was thinking about.
Okay,
everyone's leaving.
For 2 reasons. One,
the smell.
He's pissed off enough to take off his fucking helmet. And go
he's like, I'm done with this. Yeah.
2. He's ugly as fuck.
He's ugly as fuck. And I got a feeling he's got like a gamey smell coming off.
Yeah, I think it's like that gangrenous smell.
Yeah, like,
You know that smell like when you first pop a pimple? Or just
yes.
That
funky.
It's funk.
That like pus smell.
Body
just
funk.
smells like pus.
Yeah, I can see that's why he wears the mask for your consideration. You know, for you.
And that's why he's always like.
He can't stand the smell of it either. He still hasn't gotten used to it.
Every breath
he's just breathing.
I gotta breathe through my mouth. There's nothing I can do. I'm not using my nose in here, guys. If I even have one left. I mean, I guess those are kind of some fair opinions on the whole thing. You know, we all kind of see it a little different. You know, for Bob, it's about the minutia. It's about who, what, where, and when.
Bob's a little too critical about it.
I think. Well, maybe not. You know.
I'm just trying to figure out based on available data.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the question really comes down to who do you like more?
That's what always seems to happen with most people. Like too, it's like when people argue about Marvel versus DC. It's like, okay, I will know within a moment or two which side you already lean on. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just one of these things that people throw out. You know what I mean? And I always hate when people throw out these scenarios, these fight scenarios with Batman, because usually that means that someone's going to be like, well, Batman just wins all the time because he's Batman.
Now I'm thinking about Frank Miller Batman might actually kick Vader.
See, now we're getting into a whole different thing. That's almost like saying now, what about the cartoon version of Darth Vader?
Yeah.
You know, versus like, you know what I mean? You could go down a rabbit hole. You know, you really could.
That's why I said it depends on which version and which.
What about the version of Vader in my head that I made up that is on steroids and mind control drugs to make his powers even more powerful?
What about the Vader I always wanted him to be before I saw those first 3 George Lucas movies?
The Chippendales model with the Dave Vader mask on, right? That's what you were thinking.
Not me.
No,
you wanted to think. You had I'll try and put it on anybody else. You said Chippendales. You said Channing Tatum in the shower.
I don't even know what Chippendales is.
No, he does. I'm sure.
I don't even know. I do.
He was going to play. I'm just a little guy. I don't know nothing. I'm 14. All right. Well, that was it. I just kind of threw that out there. Oh, how about this one from Agent Palmer? Really quick. We got a little time. What's your favorite nerd movie? Like, you know.
How dare you ask me that question?
Why is that? I should know? How make you choose?
Yeah.
Basically? Something like that? Is that where you're going to go?
Exactly.
It's a tough question, man. It's almost as tough as, like, you know, people don't know, but we're working on this top 10 list project we're probably going to do pretty soon. But it's almost as bad as trying to pick a top 10 list.
Not
I was
top 10 nerd movies. Top 10 movies of all time.
Favorite nerd movie.
Favorite nerd movie. Something that... We'll just go with something that pops into your head.
Yeah, but the first one obviously comes to my head because his name, favorite nerd movie, Revenge of the Nerds.
I knew you were going to fucking say it as soon as I saw this guy suggest it. Yeah. I was like, I was going to say Revenge of the Nerds.
But no, like, if you're talking about that kind of movie...
Well, that depends on how you define nerd.
No,
right? I guess.
Because that's really like what play on Animal House.
Yeah.
Animal House, I don't know if you consider a nerd movie.
No, but I would consider it one of these kind of college frat.
Right. See, like
Animal House kicked it off.
My initial instinct would actually be for Animal House, but it doesn't really qualify as a nerd movie.
So let's just say, how about this? Let's rephrase it, because I think what he meant is geek. So he meant more geek nerd than academic.
Right.
So, you know, of the genre stuff.
Oh, so you talk about comic book movies.
Comic book movies, sci-fi.
That's how I interpreted the question.
You know what I mean?
Okay, Palmer. Just let you know.
So.
Yeah, I'm a little out of the loop. I have to be pulled back in sometimes.
It's all right.
Kind of like, you know, The Mob and Godfather.
Yes. They pull me back in. We'll pull you back in, buddy.
Right.
So, you got your Matrixes, you got your 2001s, you got, maybe you like cartoons, like Five Goes West.
I don't think of the Matrix movies as nerd movies. That's to me. That's just like Awesome Summer Movie. To me.
Well, is it a sci-fi movie?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's what we're talking about.
Okay, I guess it is.
I would have to say that my favorite geek nerd movie is.
I would put those two together. I would put sci-fi comics, comic superhero shit, and maybe even to a degree horror, fucking kind of like in a similar kind of, kind of thing. Because you could even say Evil Dead.
Then I know what I'm going for.
Okay.
I had to think about it a little
bit.
Unbreakable.
Good one. I like it. Unbreakable.
Phenomenal. Anybody who's never seen that movie should be seeing that movie.
Yeah.
That's
plain and simple. If you've ever picked up a comic book, you have to see this movie.
Pretty sure I've seen it.
It's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes,
Bruce Willis.
That's what I just didn't understand how it was a geek movie.
Yeah, well, because it's superheroes. It's comic books.
Yeah, that's true.
It's we'll get into it because it's on my list. I'll just say that it's on my list. So we'll be talking about it.
I think it's on mine too.
Okay. Well, what about you?
Mine would probably be The Dark Knight, I think. I mean, it's usually...
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I mean, it's an excellent movie.
Solid.
No one's going to complain about that. No one's going to challenge you on that. That's an excellent movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
The
good.
Dark Knight, yeah.
Come on, it's got Joker in it. That Joker is going to go down in history. That's a good, solid answer. I'm going to say Howard the Duck because
wow.
No, I don't even know if I've
that's like saying Plan 9 from Outer Space.
That's even. Wow, what's worse, Plan 9 from Outer Space or Howard the Duck? How do you gauge that one? We'll just say one's in color and one's not, and that makes Howard win.
Actually, you know what? One was made without regard to actually making a movie with a budget. The other one,
I would disagree with you on that because if you watch Howard the Duck, they both fucking fall. They seem to fall into that category.
But Howard the Duck had a budget.
Yeah.
I remember Ed Wood was just nuts.
Yeah, Ed Wood was just amazing. He was using that problem.
Ed Wood is a man who went to the movies one day and decided, I can make a movie. And went out and bought himself an 8mm camera and a couple of pie plates and some string and made a science fiction movie.
Hey, he made a name for himself.
Absolutely.
We're talking about him. Remember.
A genre of movies.
All right, so
a bad movie.
If I had to pick a movie, I'll blow your mind right now and say, I haven't seen it in a really long time. Time Bandits.
Okay.
Dom's like,
never even heard of that.
That's before my birth. It does not exist.
Dude, I saw that in the theater.
Well, now we're showing age. All right, I could just say I remember watching it a lot on on TV.
That's a good one because it comes out of left field.
It's so left field. It's Terry Gilliam. It's a bunch of little people.
Yeah.
It's as a kid it fucked with my head because it's so. Not Hollywood,
right. The only kid in the movie is taller than the kid.
Well, it's seven, short people, midgets or dwarfs, whatever you call them nowadays.
It's like the 7 dwarfs on a time quest.
Oh yeah,
let's put it that way.
A lot of just weird. Yeah. So the imagery in that stuff.
They fall out of the sky into a
just
giant
stuck in my
pirate
head
ship
forever.
at one point, and it's like.
All right,
but it's actually a pretty good movie just on its own. Just to go if it's good family stuff. If you find it, watch it.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely good safe for kids.
It's older.
It's
like
dated as hell.
Yeah,
but
it's an '80s movie, but so don't expect like 5-star special effects, but it's good.
All right. So with that, we're going to get into the last bit. It's we'll see how this goes. Dom's shaking his head. All right, this is going to blow up. All right, so what you kids may not know at home is that we are basically surrounded by my comic book collection as we do this show every week. The 2 of the 4 walls in this room are just comic boxes, just stacked halfway to the ceiling. And Bobby's like trying not to drop one right now as we do this bit. So what we're going to do is Bob's going to grab a box. Dom, just hold that guitar for us. Oh, you got it?
I got it.
Okay, well, because there was a box behind me too, but either way.
Well,
you know what? Yeah, all right. We'll try it. We'll try it twice. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So don't pull anything out yet, Bob. Let me break this down a little bit real quick for the people at home. All right. So what we're gonna do is Bob is gonna pluck out a comic. Dom, you give it a shot too. We'll do 10 questions each, and we'll see if, without me looking, if I can guess through like a 20 questions type of setup, 10 questions. That I can guess what comic it actually is. And then, I don't know, maybe this will be funny, maybe it'll be interesting, maybe it won't.
Maybe it'll make you turn off.
maybe you should leave now if you're still listening. But, all right, so each of you kind of grab a comic, and then...
He's blindfolded.
I am not quite blindfolded, but I am blocking my
giant
face.
Boxes blocking his view
with a piece of paper.
So he cannot see me.
All right, you guys have a book each?
I haven't. I'm just looking.
Dom is cultivating. Dom is trying to find a gem. I appreciate that.
I have found one.
All right.
So we're just going by like title of the comic?
Well, title of the comic, I do have 10 questions. I can try and ask you just about any question about the book. Oh, shit.
All right, go first.
Okay, Dom's got a book. All right, Dom's got a book. All right. Bob, if you've... once you have a book, the next book you have, let's just go with that.
Okay, yeah,
so
all
that
right,
we don't,
that's fine then.
I don't want it to be like all of a sudden you see me how my questions go, and then you're like, oh, I got to get something else.
No. Okay. We're never going to be like that.
All right, so I got 10 questions with Dom. All right. Is it Marvel or DC?
It is Marvel.
It's Marvel. Is it a team book or a solo book?
Pretty sure it's a solo book, but hold on, let me confer with Bob, because this is a little before my time, so...
Yeah? I believe it is, but I've never read
a team? It's a team?
Go open it up and look at the copyright.
See, I don't think it's a team.
It's a single name.
Okay.
Singular name, so...
Oh, all right.
Singular name, but there's multiple characters on the cover. So.
Okay, we'll go with that. All right,
I think it is a team.
Okay. Are these spandex superheroes?
One looks like they are.
Okay, that's good enough.
The rest are not.
Okay. It's Marvel. The spandex.
The one, I'll give you a hint.
Not yet. No. You know what? When I need a hint, I'll ask for a hint. How about that? I'm trying to get it on my own.
All right.
Is it wow? Animal, vegetable, or mineral? Is it a Is it a limited series? Is it like a one of or number two of a certain run?
Doesn't indicate that anywhere on the cover.
Okay,
check the
that's
inside,
That's fine. Let's take a fourth question. This is tough. This is tougher than I thought. Jesus. Wow.
It's fucking cheesy.
Are there you probably pulled something I'll never guess. Is there mutants involved?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's 5. Jesus Christ. All right, these are gonna. All right, give me a hint. I'm never gonna get it at this point.
Well, Zarko is in this team.
Zarko. I think I'm done already. Zarko. What the fuck is Zarko? Oh, Jesus Christ. Zarko?
Zarrko. Spider-Man's in this book, in this issue. Nova is actually in this issue. It's from 1993.
New Warriors? No.
Yeah, it is.
Is it New Warriors?
Darkhawk, New Warriors.
Oh, it's an issue with Darkhawk then.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. With the New Warriors guest starring. And then, yeah, look at that. Crappyville. This is a gem to be destroyed. Look at this book. Zarko, the bad guy, Firestar.
Donate to the next
Night Thrasher. Yeah, and let's see real quick. This is issue 27 of Darkhawk. Back when comics were still $1.25. 1993.
22 years ago.
By Danny Fingeroff, and Todd Smith was the penciler on that. What a gem, folks. Oof. Oof. I'm glad I gave up on that one. All right, Bob, your turn. All right, we'll start the same way. Marvel or DC? DC. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. Green Lantern.
No.
Because I'm like thinking about my old collection, mostly Green Lanterns. All right. Is it a Superman book?
No.
Is it a Batman book?
No.
All right, then we're running out.
Just what I pulled out.
Right, so what was that? It was like 3, right?
Yes.
4, because I actually Marvel, DC, Superman, or Batman. I think that's all I asked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then, is it a team book?
Actually, yes.
Okay, it's a team.
I'll tell you that it's not a large team.
All right. Is it Doom Patrol?
No.
Fuck. Is it, that's 5, 6, is it, small team, Suicide Squad?
Nope.
Much smaller than that.
I don't have any Suicide Squad. Is it,
That's what, 6 questions now?
yeah, that's 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
7. Let me see. We got spandex going on?
Yes.
I don't know how much that's helping me.
I'll tell you that it's a red costume, green cape.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? That's ugly as hell.
Yes, it is.
Santa Claus?
I'll also tell you that they're... No, never mind. I can't say that.
Well, I'm almost at the end. I think I'm at 8.
8.
So I'll ask a hint at 9 here. And then I'll make a last guess if I can.
He's African American.
Oh, is that Icon?
Yes, it is.
All right.
So we got one of the 2.
I got one of the 2. Icon. Issue number 3.
That wasn't an easy one either.
No, it really wasn't, man. You know?
The other one was the Hulk. So, what am I going to say? He's green.
Yeah, well, that's true, too.
He's incredible.
And I could,
from the
Hulk and you couldn't get a more simple costume where it's like, just red suit, green cape.
There's not even anything there to define the red.
It's really red. Not. Yeah, it's just all red.
It's just like he just took a red marker.
So this is, Icon number 3, written by Dwayne McDuffie and art by M.D. Bright. And back when the Milestone line of comics came out. Yes. What a classic.
Yeah, and if anyone doubted your comic book heritage, now... It can be no longer in doubt. You have Icon.
That's not that so much of a surprise, but you can definitely doubt my ability to retain any of these this information that I might have accumulated over the years from reading. Maybe we'll do this again. I don't know. It was something.
You gotta let people know that your comic book walls here are about. It's like 7 feet and about another 4 feet on the other wall.
Cubed, it's about 18 long boxes. So you can do the math on however many comics fit in a long box. Maybe when we get anybody from comic book shop in here one day, we'll have something like that.
Yeah, they can do the volume. Where's the comic? It's got to go in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, put it back in the bag and the board.
I didn't realize they had a bag and board.
No, they ain't many in bags and boards, I'll tell you that. That's the other thing. But,
some of them aren't even...
that's Todd McFarlane, right? That's like, when he started to really break big on the Hulk.
This whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's good stuff right there. All right. Flipping through the microphone. It's like...
Yeah.
So, all right, let's start wrapping it up. Let's go over one last thing here and remind kids at home that, giving away $50. Go through the old episodes, write down the numbers in order. Send them to me, post a link to the show on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't even care at this point. I just want to get rid of this $50. It's burning a hole in my pocket. So if you want it, do a little homework, go get it. I'll give you the secret. I'll give you the trick. All the numbers are hidden in the last 20 minutes of that episode. Most of them are at the very end of the episode. But anyway, put that in an email. Send it to me. Send it to us at podcast at wickedtheory.com. Send us all your email-y stuff to Wicked Theory, podcast at wickedtheory.com. We want to read it. We'd like to get some emails, folks. Okay, it's getting lonely in here. Nonsense, any questions, all that good stuff. You can follow Dom on Twitter if you want to.
I don't think they do.
You don't think they? Well, I'm not selling it probably good enough anyway, right?
But that's at Dom_Tory.
Dom_TORRE.
And that's William T. Ducey.
That is not my name. That is not how.
At
no,
Wicked Theory.
No, it's William Ducey. You're pronouncing it wrong. And then the show is on Libsyn, iTunes, Stitcher, Tangent Bound Network, and the TuneIn app, which I put on my TV the other day. Did you see a little post I made? Yeah. Because I'm such a nerd. You can find anything and everything at wickedtheory.com. Thanks for listening. We love you a lot. We want you to spread the love, spread the show. And then if you're on iTunes, give us a rating. Give us a rating or a review, something like that. I hear other podcasts beg for that shit, so I think maybe I should too.
Yeah, at least let us know if we're doing good or if we suck.
Yeah. Please let me know if it sucks. If it sucks,
then we know we got to work.
We'll just stop.
Well, no, we'll either suck more or we'll try and suck less. But I got to feel that since the world revolves around people complaining, no one ever compliments anything and says anything good. People love to go on about how bad shit is. So hey, man, if you hate this show and you're still listening, send us an email. Let us know that you're still listening and you hate us.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you, buddy. We're done with you. Bob, fucking hit it.